everybody. Meredith back with another Power 15 interview. And today I am joined by Esai Williams of Mattamy Homes. Welcome to the Home Builder Growth Summit.
Hey, Meredith, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, you bet. So I'm randomly browsing through Facebook, as we all are doing right now because we're bored and during quarantine.
That's
And
true.
I see it pop up that you've won a sales award. And for if you're not familiar, those of you that are listening, many of our markets around the country have what are called the Maim Awards, Major Achievements in Marketing Excellence, Maim Awards. And I see you on there with a Maim Award. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm just really thankful to be in the position I am and to work with the team that I have. But ultimately, it was a sales award based on sales volume. And it's really something that was a team effort, you know, all the way from construction to sales to leadership to, you know, even our partners building our homes and, you know, and our customers, a lot of patience from our customers too. So just
Right?
thankful for the recognition.
This hot market requires a lot of patience on both sides, doesn't it?
It really does. You know, especially now, there's so many things going on at once and so many life events happening that, you know, we just have to stay focused on what's most important, which is providing the best experience overall. So.
Yeah. I think too, you know, sales leaders that are listening in, I mean, just try and remember that people are under more stress than usual. I mean, building and buying a new home is pretty stressful as it is. When I did it in 2019, despite being in this industry all these years, I was completely freaked out. I was a panicked mess and I should have known better. Right. And of course it went fine. Everything's great. It's a beautiful home, wonderful builder. But I was pretty stressed. I can't imagine adding that into the uncertainties of our current environment. That's a lot for somebody to handle.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I actually just sold my first home and purchased my second home last year. And you know what? I forgot all the steps involved as a buyer. You know, there's so many different dots that, you know, you got to dot the I's and cross the T's and so many things that you have to make sure that you do and don't do. And, you know, I think sometimes in these sales roles, we tend to forget what types of things our buyers are going through on the back end. So it just kind of helped reset my mindset around purchasing a home so I can just better relate with my buyers.
And you know what's interesting about it is despite what's happening, and my conventional wisdom might have thought, okay, everybody will just freeze up in place because this is all a little too much to handle at once. The opposite happened. This surge of demand happened, which goes to prove this old adage in sales, which is if the pain is high enough, if the hot buttons are hot enough, people will buy. And I guess being in quarantine 24/7 in a home that's too small, doesn't have enough storage, has no outdoor living, has loud neighbors, whatever the problem is, I guess that is worse than the stress of trying to take it on in the middle of a stressful time.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of us are used to even working from home, but maybe having our family members outside of the home for the majority of the day and our neighbors gone and kind of, you know, and we don't spend as much time as we do now looking around the home, just critiquing things and nitpicking. So there's definitely more opportunities to figure out everything that's wrong with your current situation. So
Yeah. And when that pain is there, and when inventory of resale homes is really, really low, and when interest rates are really, really low, all of this creates a perfect buyer demand storm. That's great. It's great for us, great for them. But please, you know, if you're in the middle of the whirlwind, sales leaders, and you're managing 20 homes under construction, 30, 50, whatever number it is you're required to handle, and you're super overwhelmed, it's easy to become impatient, a little less empathetic. Just really take that time to reconnect with each person's situation and maybe like, how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah.
We've
got to check in on each other.
Yeah, and let them tell you what's really going on in their life, and it will help remind you, maybe I'll take that tone down a notch in my email, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not this, whatever their tone was not really about me.
No, not at all. And it's something to remember too, that no matter how busy we get, each buyer should feel as if they're our only buyer. So we just need to make sure that no one feels forgotten, that everyone feels like we're there for them at every step of the way. And the more people you have, the more difficult it is to, maintain your processes. So that's why it's key to make sure you have a strong process in place and that you manage your time well.
That's right. And that is the perfect segue. And while you are in sales, my friend, because that takes us to my first question for you, which is, do you have any time-saving hacks or tips or tricks, apps? Like, what do you do every day to manage the volume that you've got?
I just look at a lot of leaders in the industry, and they just kind of talk about ways that they start their day. And there's really the biggest trend is that you have to start your day by taking care of yourself first. So whether that's waking up, reading a book, watching the news, reading an article within your industry, you have to do something for yourself to jumpstart your mind. And besides that is really just knowing how your day is going to go. You need to have that calendar set up so that your day is pretty much automated. You should basically have your calendar set up as the GPS for your day that's going to take you from point A to point B. So from the time you wake up until the time you put the key in the door at home to end your day, you should know exactly how it's going to go. And the biggest part of that is two things, really. It's time blocking, which is, just ahead of time, blocking out time for yourself, blocking out time for special events, for educating yourself, for meeting with your team. But also the second thing is just you have to, it's a team effort. You have to delegate as well. You have to realize that not everything has to be done by you. So you have to look at, when these homes are being built, there's hundreds of people that touch the homes before they're complete. There's not one person building the home. So that's true with the sales process as well. We are all in this together with the common goal of, hey, how can we make this the best possible home and the best experience for this buyer? And we do that as a team. And the number one way that
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say that the number one way that I kind of save time, I guess we could say, is I automate my processes as much as I can. And what I mean by automate is, for example, I have a program that's called Acuity that actually allows my buyers to book appointments with me online. And the best thing about that is it's more than that, because with Acuity, I can actually block out certain times of the day that I'm not available to take appointments. So it only shows the buyers the times that I'm available to meet with them. The other thing is it allows them to specify if they want to do a virtual appointment or an in-person appointment, and adjust my time accordingly, because typically in-person appointments may take longer than a virtual appointment. So we have it set for certain time frames. Now, the other thing with that too is you think about the fact that it reminds your buyers about their appointment. So a day before, an hour before, it says, hey, you've got this appointment coming up. Here's the phone number. Here's the address. So it eliminates that need of having to look at your calendar and, call or text everybody and check in and say, hey, just making sure we're still on for our appointment today. Because it allows the customers the flexibility to reschedule or cancel on their own should something pop up, and then that frees it up on your calendar for someone else.
And that's then by doing it that way through the app, you're eliminating all the back and forth, 3 million emails, 3 million text messages. Do you need to move? What do you need? Like, it's funny. I don't understand why sometimes if somebody needs something very simple, they don't just directly text that request. You know, they have to leave a phone call to call them so I can tell you something. And I know they're wanting to relate and talk, but it's hard when you're busy. If you have a lot of this going on, that's eating up a lot of time. Honestly, I live my life by what you just said. So we are so on the same page. If you're listening to this and you are struggling, I promise you there's a couple things you're missing here that he's saying. One is calendar management, the art of calendar management and living by it. And honestly, that's why my Apple Watch, while a lot of what's on my watch is also on my phone, the biggest thing my watch does for me is put my calendar on my arm because, you know, cute girl clothes, we typically don't have a lot of pockets for our phone. So my phone is never on me. So I can't find the phone. So, but the watch puts my calendar and gives me the 15, 20-minute reminders, you know, and it keeps me on track all day. And then the automated booking of appointments, honestly, I think that's one of the best things that's come out of the COVID new home selling shift is the shift to selling by appointment. Yes.
And you know, Meredith, my favorite thing about the online scheduling and the buyers being able to reschedule, cancel on their own is, you know, when I was newer to this industry, I can't tell you how much time I wasted on no-show appointments. And I'm talking to folks that you plan your entire day around them coming and they don't show up, they don't respond to your text messages or call, or maybe they show up late, or maybe they show up while you're with someone else, where, you know, sometimes it's just a life event, or maybe it's just, you know, the lack of respect for your time. So by having that in place, you're saving time, because if someone doesn't have the moment to meet with you, they can discreetly hit cancel. It frees up your calendar for you to then put your attention somewhere else, so you're not staring out the window looking for them.
Brilliant. Brilliant. All right. So the next topic is when I developed this concept of the Power 15, and then I started realizing and Googling the number 15, I discovered, didn't know this, that the basketball hoop is exactly 15 feet from the free throw line.
Yep.
And then I started Googling percentages, the average percentage of hit free throws. And like the average basketball player, we're talking 50, 60%. I mean, half? Would they make half? And it's interesting because a free throw is unguarded. You get to take your time. You get to set up your shot. Like, and the greats would be at 80, 90% on free throw completions. So I started wondering, in home building, what is the equivalent of the free throw? And of course, not specific to your builder. You guys do everything perfectly. So we're not telling tales here. As an industry, what's the equivalent of a free throw? We're not guarded. We could take our time. We could set it up, but we're missing.
Yeah. You know, I think you made a good point that, you know, it should be a free throw, because it's something that we should be doing religiously, that we have no obstructions, that we should be 100% focused on what we do. And I think the dangerous side of that is that we get complacent. So, you know, my answer to that is every professional has some type of checklist or system in place. Professionals don't just wing it. They might be experts in the information they give and in their processes, but we always double check ourselves to make sure that we're concise and that we're consistent and that we're honest. So whether you have sales scripts that you go by, a sales process that you go by, your intention should be the same. And you should share that with your buyers when they come in and set the tone and basically say, hey, look, this is how your visit will go today. And, it's going to take about this long. And I'm going to definitely answer all the questions you have for me. But here's the things we're going to hit in this order. And what it does is it disarms them. It also sets the time frame where they know exactly how long this is going to take. And then it also allows you to do your job without interruptions, because they already know that, hey, you know what, this is not their first time and they've done this before. They're professionals. They're going to walk me through the steps. I just need to, sit back, relax, and fall in love with the right home. And with all of that together, you then are professional and not pushy.
Yes.
You can still be human and follow a guideline to make sure you're providing a quality experience without being a robot.
The analogy I've used for years is one of a Disney World ride. So before I moved to Raleigh, I was not quite born, but 100% raised, and went to college and then on as a professional in Orlando, Florida. So I've spent a lot of time at Disney World.
Yeah.
And when you think about, if you've ever been to Disney World or Disneyland and you've been on Pirates of the Caribbean or It's a Small World, don't get that song in your head.
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, sorry. And if you go on any of their rides where there's not an obvious track, the track is in the water, but the boat is 100% on a guided track.
Yeah.
And the track you're on that ride turns you just at the right moment to see the animated pirate they want you to see.
That's a good point.
But you don't feel it. You feel like you're just in a boat going in Pirates of the Caribbean, but they're taking you on a guided experience.
That's right.
And that's what you're talking about, is by having a process, a checklist, being that professional, you know what your guided experience is going to be over the next 20 minutes, 5 minutes, hour, whatever the time the person has. And by telling them up front, hey, I have a plan. I have an agenda. We're going on Pirates of the Caribbean, and it gives me trust. It gives me confidence. I can sit back and relax, because I can't tell you, when you're a buyer in any sales scenario and you go in and the salesperson's all over the place, it doesn't really seem to have a thing. The control freaks like me start wondering, where is this going?
Right. Exactly.
How long is this going to take? Is there a point? Like, what is happening right now? Can I take charge of this? Because this is not working.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And I think just having that structure just puts so many people's minds at ease. And the other thing that we often forget that, professionals need to do is ask for referrals, whether it's good or bad.
Yes.
So, sometimes we ask for referrals when the experience is great, right? It's so easy to just throw that out there. Yeah, if you know anyone else, but what about if it's bad? What if you're not the right fit for them? To still have the power to ask for referrals and continue to grow your business, and use that as an opportunity, because we all know that word of mouth is the best possible advertising. So why would you not have someone else work for you?
Yes. That's 100% right. Back to my Disney ride analogy. As you come off one ride, they bring you through the gift shop and they want you to buy something else, referral, right? And B, they're advertising through a digital sign, a physical sign, a hostess. They're pointing you to the next ride they want you to take, right?
Right.
They're referring you through the whole thing. And so again, part of the guided experience, we talk sales process, but I think guided experience is a little bit more, 2020 terminology, right? Part of that is the referral, asking for it. Absolutely. Okay. Last one. I don't want to take up too much of your time. One of the things we were talking about in the pre-interview, every sales leaders, was Esai has been assigned to a community that is gonna go gangbusters, baby. You've got an awesome price point and an awesome location. Mattamy Homes has nailed it with this. So we got to get you back to selling. All right. So anyway, last one is, what do you think the biggest challenge is for sales leaders right now? Obviously, we've got in your case, I mean, you've got an avalanche coming at you, which is awesome, of sales, given you've got an awesome price point and location. But honestly, most of our markets around the country are pretty much on fire right now. Yeah. So what's our challenge with that?
Well, I think the challenge is, how do we take all that energy and still have it be personal to the buyer? Because it's something that, you can throw all the ads out there in the world, spend all the money, make all the videos, but if they don't relate to that particular buyer, they have no reason to come visit you. So we know that right now, most buyers are doing their shopping online. It definitely starts online. Most of it happens that way. So knowing that means that your website and your community presentation is the best salesperson in your entire company. It's not you, it's your community and your website. So they have to fall in love with that first. So if they fall in love with your website and your community, you've got to make it easy for them. So you have to look at your online presence, whether that's social media, your personal website, your personal social media. How are you looking? Because I guarantee you that when these people make appointments with you, they're looking you up on Facebook, and they're trying to figure out what you're about, who you are, what types of things you're involved in, because they want to know who they're dealing with. So you just need to make sure that's accurately and positive reflecting you. And also knowing that all this stuff is virtual, these buyers have all the information they need to make a decision before they even come visit you. So at that point, it's just a matter of making it personal. So when someone sets an appointment with you, I even do little things. Like, I have an app that, just has big letters. So I'll make them a video and say, hey, thanks so much for booking the appointment. I can't wait to meet you. And it'll just say hello and their name right there on the screen. Wow. So they know this video is just for them, that they're not just another number. They're not just another online lead, that they are what's important at the moment. And those things right there are how we overcome this virtual era. Because although it is virtual, it's still humans dealing with humans. And the only way to win that is to share the emotion. You have to sell the emotion, and it's very difficult to do online if you are doing that in a mass scale.
I say all the time that the best use of technology, of high tech, is when we use it to make things more high touch.
Yep.
When we use technology to automate and simplify transactions, like getting an appointment set or changed. But then we also use it to personalize with a personalized video or a personalized thank you card, where we snap a picture and then put that on one of those customizable little postcards where you can throw a picture on it, send them a little note with a picture of what they looked at, or you send the little video of what they looked at. That's right. That is where technology becomes human. And when we do those combinations, that is win-win-win. And no wonder you won a sales volume award. Like, that is so perfect. Well, I really enjoyed getting to know you a little better through this. I appreciate your willingness to do this. I kind of messaged you out of the blue and you were totally game for it, which tells me a lot about you to begin with. But sales leaders just, his formula for success does not have to be your formula, but you need a formula. You need a game plan. He has a game plan on the things he's doing consistently that he knows works for him and his buyers, and it helps him create a human, personal, high value customer experience. So what is your game plan? And as you wrap up listening to this particular interview, take a few minutes and jot those things down. And if you don't have anything specific, then that's your area of opportunity to start being more strategic about how you go about your day, your communications, and your interactions.
That's right. And I think the best example of that is just saying, how can I make the largest impact and how can I reach my goals? And everything you do, you have to ask yourself, is this helping me accomplish my goals? And if it's not, you probably need to just reset and reschedule your day and figure out what is your next steps are. Because if it's not helping you grow and it's not helping grow your business, it's not helping you make money, you're not helping other people, what are you doing it for?
Yeah, it's busy time. It's busy work. It's wasted time. And that's something we don't have capacity for in any market, really.
That's right.
We all have a lot of priorities. We have our families. We have all the things we have going on. And it's important to stay focused on our why. That's really what you're talking about right now, is the why. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and contribution to our Home Builder Growth Summit. And I look forward to seeing you around Raleigh. I hope to see you in person at a Triangle Sales and Marketing Council breakfast very, very soon.
For sure.
All right. Thank you. Bye now.